Hiya babes, and welcome back to another episode of Thanks for Stopping By. Hi, how are you? How are you lovely babes doing today? Oh, it's so good to be back here on the pod. So, right off the bat, let's talk about a couple things, okay? I have some updates. I have some things, I guess. No, I do have stuff I want to talk about today, but first I do want to say some quick updates about the podcast specifically. As I'm sure all of you are not tired of hearing changes about the podcast, we have some more, and I'm going to run them down really quick. So first of all, and I think the biggest one, is this is actually the end of the SoundCloud era. And the reason I say that is because this will be the last episode that I post to SoundCloud. Now, I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, Salem, my podcast mom and podcast queen, are you ending Thanks for Stopping By? And I want you to say, I want to say myself, not you to say, me to say this personally, my sweet child / whatever a queen has, disciple. God, why do you guys listen to me? Jesus Christ. I want to say, no, I am not ending the podcast. This will just be the last episode that goes up on SoundCloud. And the reason for that is because your girl got a podcast host. So now you can find Thanks for Stopping By on iTunes, Spotify, and wherever else you get your podcasts. And I want to say, silly bits aside, I know I'm kind of being silly and fun. Getting my podcast on iTunes and Spotify has been something I've wanted to do for years. Pretty much since I was 15 and I started making content for the internet. So doing that is a pretty big deal for me. And I'm very excited to take that leap into professionalism, quote unquote, because I really want to make this thing happen. And I really want to go full send with the show and with my channels as well, because I love making content and I want people to enjoy it and I want to make the best content to my ability and I want it to reach as many people as possible. And to do that, SoundCloud just isn't the best option. I loved SoundCloud and I'm glad it was a first home for my show, and I got to post consistently, but I am just going to move towards pushing it to other platforms. So yeah, you can go ahead and go iTunes, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcast. Thanks for stopping by. Easy to find, and all 21 episodes that have already been posted will be up. They are up right now on all platforms, and episodes will just continue to come out on other platforms from now on and no longer SoundCloud. I will leave the SoundCloud episodes here. They're here to stay. But I will no longer be posting the episodes to SoundCloud. So, with that being said, I want to thank y'all so much for joining me here. This is not the end of the podcast. Could you imagine I just do a 4-minute podcast? 4 minutes of heat as a 4-minute podcast. Hey, if you have never heard it, my good buddies Eddie Pearl and Ricky Gibson, the wrestling tag team duo, that's usually what a tag team is. Salem, good job, mama. Professional wrestling tag team and Defy tag team champions, 4 Minutes of Heat, have their own podcast called 4 Minutes of Heat with 4 Minutes of Heat. And it's on iTunes, I believe, and they also have a Patreon, but go support them because they are fucking hilarious. And I love all the things that they do because they're fucking weird. And if Eddie Pearl wants to fist fight me, let's make it happen. Okay, so one last piece of podcast updates is the day that the podcast goes up will be Thursdays now instead of Sundays. Yay, moving to the weekdays. I just figured Sundays is a really weird day to post the podcast. I notice a lot of my favorite podcasts go up during the week, and that kind of made me realize, like, oh, I should put mine up during the week because I like when they go up during the week. Because it gives me something to listen to. So why would I not also do that, So that's what we're going to do. So yeah, we're going to go up during the week, and I'm not sure the time yet, but obviously you'll see this upcoming Thursday. I think if you just schedule it to go up Thursday, it goes up in the morning, but we'll see. As far as time goes, clearly I've got it all ironed out. But yeah, it will now be going up on Thursdays. So, with all those updates out of the way, I have an update on something that isn't related to my podcast, but something that is related to something I talked about on my podcast last week. And that is, last week I talked about Shane Dawson returning to YouTube, or not really YouTube, but more the internet, I guess. I want to say this isn't going to become a fucking T-Spill channel now, like a T-Spill podcast, where every week I'm like giving you the fucking weekly TCAP. I have to talk about this because it was so weird, right? I talked about that situation on the podcast last week, and then legitimately, like within an hour after I finished recording, I was downstairs, and I was just like on Instagram, and I noticed Shane Dawson had posted on his Instagram story. And I was like, what the fuck? And I actually screen recorded it and saved it. So, and I'm sure a lot of you have heard about this already, but if you haven't, we're gonna go ahead and run through this really quick. So, like I talked about last week, if you didn't know, Ryland released a video that was promoting the first episode of his newest podcast, The Sip. I still have not listened to the episode. Like I said, I plan to, but I really just haven't had the energy to put myself through it. But on Instagram, I saw the Shane Dawson story, and like I said, I screen capped it here, so this is what he said. I wasn't planning on coming back to the internet for a while, but today is a special day for my best friend, and I wanted to be there for him the way he has always been there for me. I have so much I want to say, and I promise in the future I will, but today I want to talk about Ryland. He's been my rock and my best friend since the day I met him. He has always been there for me and helped me be more kind to myself, which is something I've always struggled with. He let me do this to them, and it shows the weird fat suit video they did, which, is a whole thing. I'm so grateful to have him as my family and as my partner in life. When I met him, his dream in life was to have a talk show. I'd never met someone who was as passionate about their dreams as he was. It's a big part of what made me fall in love with him. And then he goes on to say, I watched him work so hard to reach for those dreams. I watched him do what he was great at and what I believe he was born to do. I watched him grow and evolve as a person and become the strongest, most beautiful man I've ever met. Today, he starts his next chapter and finally created the talk show he always wanted to make. And his co-host, Lizzie Gordon, is incredible. He also told me not to do this and that he doesn't want me coming back to the internet until I'm ready. I told him there's nothing I'd rather do than be there for him today. Meanwhile, through all of this, he's just posting pictures of Ryland or them together. And the final one is just a picture of him that he took then and there, and he says, "Hi, I probably won't be back for a while, but I just wanted to say hi and let me start that again. Hi, I probably won't be back for a while, but I just wanted to say hi and support my man. Hope you guys are having a good day." And then he does one of the swipe up to watch the episode things at the end. And this shit was very jarring to me. I want you to know. I was very caught off guard because like in the last episode, I don't want to repeat the whole fucking episode, obviously, but like I talked about the fact that like I felt like this was them trying to slowly all return to the internet, right? And literally the same day. And here's the thing. A lot of people, I'm sure, are going to say, like, oh, no, he just wanted to support Rylan and, like, you know, promote his podcast. And to be fair, like, yeah, I'm sure a lot of the people who are going to respond positively to Shane's Instagram post are the same people who are going to go watch Rylan's podcast. And I get he wants to be supportive of his man or whatever, but like, I mean, I spoke about it already. I don't want him coming back to the internet at all, you know, at least not for a very long time. But it's inevitable that he is going to come back. But I just thought it was a really stupid move. And I'm sure he knew it was going to get negative responses, obviously. And I think he even posted again the next day, like saying more along the lines of the same shit. But I just don't think after such a heavy expose on you, where you are literally made to look like not made to look, you are shown, your true colors are shown, and you're shown that you are a bad person who has made some very bad and disgusting choices in the past and continue to exhibit a behavior of toxicity. You disappear. Try and come back once in a regular video that, to their credit, was filmed before it happened or whatever. But after seeing the negative responses to that video, you still chose to try again like this without addressing anything. And here's the thing. To me, nothing he's going to say is going to excuse those things, right? Like, no apology video he can make is going to excuse the shitty behavior that was shown in D'Angelo's video and in those Twitter threads, right? But to just not even try and address anything and be like, oh, I'm going to talk about it, but like later, but right now I want to plug my boyfriend's, you know, project he's going to make money off of. Fuck that. Like, fuck that. You know what I mean? Whether it's a passion project or not of Ryland's, it's a revenue for him. You know? And to go plug that, to plug content, but being like, oh, I'll address everything later, but that's not important right now. What's important is my boyfriend's new little show. No. What's important is the fact that we were just shown all this gross, awful shit you've done. And instead you're like, yeah, but let's ignore that and talk about my boyfriend's podcast. Because that to me is no different than the other fucking 4 or 5 apologies he's done. But this time it's even more blatant that he's just waiting out the hate. It's literally, like, this really shows me how he takes these criticisms and these exposed pieces or whatever, right? Like, this is how he handles controversy. This really shows me that he doesn't take the criticism or see the controversy and go, fuck, I need to change my behavior. It's him going, fuck, I can't believe this is happening again. I have to wait out again. I have to wait again until it's okay to make content. And this was a perfect example of that. Of being like, yeah, I'll address it when my PR team writes it up. But like, I want to talk about Ryland's podcast. Fuck Ryland's podcast. And fuck you. Like, take a nap. You don't get to just plug his little talk show because that's what you want to do. And I know it may seem like I'm being super overdramatic and hateful, but like, I'm tired of this shit. It's really fucking ridiculous and annoying that he constantly just gets to do this kind of shit and exhibit this behavior that it is annoying and frustrating to him that we are upset. And then every comment is like, yeah, I'm so glad. Oh my God, I miss Shane. Da, da, da. No. Like, this needs to stop. It's absolutely ridiculous. You know? And again, like I talked about in the first episode, this isn't me just being a hater or whatever fucking people want to say. I was a huge Shane Dawson fan. I had a dream of like meeting this guy one day. I remember me and a friend of mine, we used to talk about like, oh, can you imagine if like our stuff blows up so much that we got to meet Shane and like he came on the podcast or something? That was like a real thing. I like looked up to his content at one point. You know? So like, it should go to show that even someone who I love the content and I'm like upset that like someone who I thought was such a cool inspiration as a content creator was such a gross and disgusting human being, you know? And like, I can't, like, I'm frustrated. It's annoying. It's so gross that this keeps happening and he keeps doing shit like this. It's just like, stop. Just go away for a very long time. Like, you lost. That's it. You got caught. Deal with it. You know? That's it. Like, I have no more patience for it. As I'm sure many people don't. But yeah, like I said, I'm sure he'll be back. The Instagram story got a lot of negative attention, but it also got a lot of positive attention from fans who are just excited that he's back on the internet. So don't be surprised before we start seeing, you know, him back up on Ryland's channel, him back up on Morgan's channel, and within time back on his own channel. So yeah, that's the last time I kind of want to talk about the Shane Dawson thing for a long time, unless obviously there's like a major update that I talk about, but I'm done with it for now. I'm cool. I'll wait until the Mind of Shane Dawson series comes out. But the other thing I did want to talk about, and this is completely different, like completely not related to what I was just talking about, is recently, the past weekend, me and Sarah binged all of the High School Musical movies, all three of them, because I forgot. I think what happened was I was singing like Bet on It or something. And I was like, oh man, I really want to watch High School Musical too. And then I looked and they were all on the Disney Plus app because of course. So we were like, okay, well, we got to get it. And then we were like, let's just watch all three of them, never having seen the third one, mind you. And here's the thing. We watched it a little differently than I'm sure a lot of you have. Because as we were watching first of all, the first movie is so gay. It's so gay, and I love it. I love every second of it. It's so gay. It's so clearly queer. But we read the movie as, get ready, because this is going to sound weird at first before I explain myself. You're going to be like, okay, I never thought of it that way. But I'm like firmly with the idea that High School Musical 1 is a trans allegory with the trans character being Troy Bolton. Because and here's the thing. Before any of you go like, that's fucking stupid, doesn't make sense, go watch it first of all with that in mind. But here's the thing is like, the reason it was like so real in my brain is because reading Troy Bolton as like a closeted trans woman was like watching a fucking documentary of my life. Just replace musicals with dancing. That was my life in high school. I was on and replaced basketball with football and rugby. I was absolutely the captain on the football team. Fucking had the high school football coach dad who very much, football's your life. Had to want to go to college for football, went to football camp and all this shit. Sports was like everything in my family, and it was supposed to be everything in my life. And I liked rugby, but I never liked football. I want to tell you that. And not to say that, first of all, I'm going to call Troy Bolton the name we gave her the entire movie, which is Chloe Bolton. And if you have a problem with that, sorry. See you next week. So Chloe clearly loves basketball, but she's torn because singing is pretty fun, because performing is a lot of fun. Where have I heard that before? So it's just so like, yeah, I was captain of the football team, the sports family, but I was also in dance class. And I originally took dance class because I didn't want to take PE. And I had grown up loving dance, but never really doing it. And I had cousins who were dancers, but they were all like hip hop dancers, right? Like that was it. And in dance class, you do everything. And so I lived that life of like being around a ton of people who were all of a sudden like, what the fuck? You want to dance? Like, what the hell is this shit? Like, oh, like it's very clearly like, don't judge people by what they look like, But reading the movie through that lens was really interesting and fun also, by the way. Like, if you don't read it like that, that's totally fine and up to you. That's how media works. But reading it as a trans allegory made a lot of sense because I saw a lot of my life in it. And so it was a really surreal experience to like first, say it kind of, but like, being like, oh, that'd be cool. But then as the movie goes on, realizing more and more about how that totally makes sense. And there is subtext, at least for me, there. And the movie's always been certified slapper, like for sure certified banger, but it's like got a new meaning to me now, weirdly. Imagining this like closeted trans girl who was like forced to play sports and only care about sports. Meanwhile, she wants to do performing art and she's also a lesbian. Dude, did I just describe the plot of High School Musical 1 or did I just describe my fucking high school experience, dog? You have no idea, and frankly, neither do I. I don't know. That's exactly what my life was. And now I love the movie past like the nostalgia. Like it's a good movie and like it's a good soundtrack, I'll say. But it's like a Disney movie and it's like fun and nostalgic and cool, but like rewatching it through that lens was like, what the fuck? This is so bizarre. And I was like getting weird about how much I related to the character and the experience of the film. And then the second one and the third one do like everything they can to erase that. So here's the thing. High School Musical 2 is the best one, for sure. Just because of the soundtrack alone. And, I mean, any movie with Bed on it, certified that's the best one, for sure. And Fabulous, I mean, dude. That's it. I had a weird experience with Fabulous. I told Sarah about it when we were watching it, but that was like such a weird sexual awakening song for me. Because I was like, I remember watching High School Musical 2 and like seeing Sharpay in like the shirt bikini thing and just being like, oh, just making me feel kind of weird. You know? Just that feeling of like, I don't know what's happening with this, but it's a good song. Yeah, that's a good song. That's why I'm sweating. I'm excited about the song. I really like those bars. Yeah, man. But yeah, besides the weird awakening that Fabulous gave me, as a movie and soundtrack, High School Musical 2 is the best one. But it really does, like try and erase not only my like trans allegory narrative, but the actual like gay subtext between characters in the movie that people have known about for like a long time. Here's the thing. I don't want to enforce gay stereotypes, but Ryan Evans is gay for sure and was written as gay. And anyone who disagrees is lying. Like, you're trying to white knight because, dude, he's gay. And in the movie, it's absolutely like that. In the first one. And in the second one, it's very weird because I feel like they start trying to stray away from that, but they also help reinforce it with his gay chemistry with Chad, who is Corbin Blue's character, in the song I Don't Dance. If for those of you who don't know, Ryan is a very theater kid. Sharpay Evans' brother, been doing theater forever, and Chad is the other like captain of the basketball team, macho man, constantly being like, "What the fuck, Chloe? What's about this singing shit?" You know. But in that one, they do a song called I Don't Dance because, God, okay, I'm sorry. I have to give you the context. So, Chloe is roped into singing with Sharpay for the talent show at the country club they're working at over the summer. I don't know why I'm explaining this like all of you haven't seen the movie, but so she is roped into singing with Sharpay at the country club. So the rest of the East Side Tigers are like, "What the fuck, Chloe? So fine, we'll just do our own performance." And Chad's like, I don't dance. I don't do that gay stuff. I'm not a gay. I'm not. I'm in girls. And then Ryan's like, "Well, I'll play around a baseball and show you that you can dance." And then they have the most like sexual tension I've ever witnessed. Like ever. It's so great. And I love it so much. And I think it's fucking horseshit that they give Chad a girlfriend, who, by the way, is the worst character. Taylor whatever, she sucks. She's the worst character. And I just want Chad to go be happy with his boyfriend Ryan. And leave his beard girlfriend. You know? But nonetheless, absolutely gay. But then, and like I just said, they gave Chad a girlfriend. But then, in High School Musical 3, and we'll talk about 3 in a second here because I have some opinions. But in High School Musical 3, there is a short subplot where they start trying to convince us that Ryan Evans is interested in Kelsey, who is the what the fuck? The composer of all the musicals. Jesus Christ, I couldn't think of the fucking term. I almost said conductor, and I was like, that's not the right word. Composer. I'm smart. Of the music for all of the musicals that they do. And here's the thing, right? And I have a really, really hot take on this, and it's really interesting. And I think you'll understand what I mean by the end of it. It's a little long, so get ready. So here's my take on the whole Ryan Kelsey situation is no. You know? No. That's it. No, it's not here. It's not real. That's so, what a half-ass attempt at trying to ungay one of your characters. And it doesn't even work. They like introduce it like halfway through the movie, and then it just doesn't happen or go anywhere. It's so fucking bizarre. Like, and the third movie, that's all I have to say about that, by the way, is no. But I want to talk about the third movie because I'd never seen it, right? Here's the thing. The third movie is a fucking mess. And I'd heard that, and I was like, oh, it's probably just nostalgia goggles, and like people just don't like it because they don't have, the fondness of the first and the second one. Or that they do for the first and the second one. Y'all, the third movie sucks. Here's the thing. It is just so much. Like, there is so much of nothing happening. And I know what you're thinking. Oh, that sentence doesn't make sense. Exactly. Neither does the fucking movie. Like, I feel like there's so many things going on, but nothing ever happens. You know what I mean? Like, there are so many subplots and characters that go fucking nowhere and do fucking nothing. Right? Premise of the movie, it's senior year. Obviously, you can tell that by the title, High School Musical 3 Senior Year. Pretty self-evident. They are coming off a big basketball win, championship win. Right? And at the end of the game, they're 1 point away. Oh my God, are they going to pull it off? But Chloe tosses the ball to some dude who apparently sucks. And his name's Rocket Man. And dude fucking sinks it. Swoop. They win. Holy shit. They hold up Chloe. Oh my gosh, she's so great. She's so pretty. She won the championship. Then it's like, oh, here we go, senior year, they're doing around senior stuff. And they introduce this character, Rocket Man. The fucking worst. He's the worst. He's annoying. He sucks. It's not funny. Then they introduce another character who is a junior, who is Sharpay's, like, fucking assistant, and she's from London, because sure. And basically the whole premise of the movie is like, oh, we got to get ready for prom and then the final musical, right? And, and then after they're kind of all being like, shit, what do we want to do after high school? Where are we going to go? And Chloe and Chad are set on going to U of A to play basketball. But Chloe's not too sure about it because she is informed that she is being looked at by Juilliard. So she's like, fuck. Do I want to go to like a university here in the place I already live and play b-ball? Or do I want to go to fucking Juilliard to do a music time? And do the theater, the arts, what I love doing. Not this sweaty basketball shit. And then Gabriella, our Chloe's girlfriend, is going to Stanford because she like invented the fucking space or something because she's so smart or whatever her thing is. Taylor wants to be the president or some shit. I don't care. She sucks. Like I said, Chad wants to go to U of A to play basketball. Ryan and Sharpay also want to go to Juilliard. They're also being looked at by Juilliard, as well as Kelsey, the composer, who's also a lesbian, but, you know, that's pretty self-evident by the way you look at her. So that's the thing, right? There's 4 people up being looked at by Juilliard, but the thing is, there's only 1 spot open, which I don't know if that's how Juilliard works, but for the movie's sake, that's what's happening. They say, we're looking at 4 of you for our college, who is like one of the biggest arts colleges in the world, but there's only 1 spot in the whole college, and it's reserved for 1 of the 4 of you from Albuquerque. So, things happen, but not really. It's kind of a lot of people running around just doing the same shit they do in every movie. Inevitably, there's a Gabriella-Chloe fight because, of course, they need to break up for 4 seconds, and the gimmick is that Gabriella graduated early to go to, like, early orientation for Stanford, and she's like, oh, no, I can't keep coming back and forth because it's too hard, so now I'll leave you because it's too hard for me to drive or whatever. And then, so Chloe's like, what the fuck? So then she drives down there and is like, sup, bitch, if you're gonna do it, then I'm gonna bring prom to you, bitch. And then Gabriella's like, okay, I love you again, because you tried hard. I'm not gonna put any work in, but you, Chloe, you did the thing, so I'm down with it. Down to fuck with it. And not only am I down with it, but I'm gonna go back with you to school to do the play, the final play of the year, right? Which, mind you, she's been in Stanford this whole time, so she has not been rehearsing for this play. And the play is a retelling of their senior year. Y'all, this movie is so fucking messy. Like, I feel like I just let... Like, I can't even... Like, my brain's pretty scattered, right? As I'm sure you've gathered from listening to this podcast already by now. I'm sure you can tell. I can't even comprehend the fucking structure of this film. The play. Here's the thing. There's no play in the second one. There's just performances. But in the first one, the whole gimmick is the play, right? Twinkletown. A play that we know nothing about other than the 3 songs that we see sung throughout the movie that have nothing to do with each other. So we never learn what Twinkletown is about, but it's really not that important to the plot. It's just kind of a play. It could have been anything. It doesn't really matter. So you can kind of let it slide because it doesn't hold a lot of bearing on the plot. But the problem is in the third movie, the play, is the plot and, holds a lot of, it needs to matter because the play is about the characters in the film. Do you even fucking understand what I'm saying anymore? The play is a retelling of their life and what they want to do after college, which is what the movie is about. So then when the play happens in the movie, it's just events from the movie we already saw but on a stage. And it leads to oops, sorry, I hit my microphone. It leads to so many confusing moments. There's a moment where they start singing and they're on a fucking set. And they're getting ready for prom and shopping for their tuxes. And the gimmick is haha, boys hate the prom because they don't get the suit. But the girls, they like the prom because it's dresses, makeup. So beyond that gender fuckery, binary nonsense bullshit, Also, just like, why are they on a set now? And they're dancing on a set, and I'm watching it with Sarah, and I remember looking at her and be like, so is prom happening? And she was like, fucking, I guess. I don't know. Can you glean anything from this shit? And I was like, not really. I'm kind of in hell. And she was like, me too. And then we both exploded. And then the thing ends, and I'm like, okay, so I guess prom happened, but it didn't happen. It was just them performing their version of prom for the play that hasn't happened yet, and also prom hasn't happened yet. So what has happened? Nothing. And there's like 7 slow songs in the movie. God. Oh my God, there's so many slow songs in this movie, and it drives me fucking nuts. I swear, there was a point in the movie where I was like, I remember, I was just like saying out loud, I was like, I swear to fucking God, if there's another slow song, like we had just finished one 2 minutes prior, no shit. And then I saw Chloe look into the distance, and a guitar kind of started like twiddling around. I was like, I swear to fuck if she starts singing a slow song. And then all of a sudden it's just like, what is my life? And I was like, motherfucker. I can't. And the worst part is, the songs and choreography are fucking incredible in this movie. They're amazing. And the set pieces are fucking fantastic. Because I'm pretty sure the budget for this movie was through the fucking roof. And I think Sarah brought this up, and I think it's right, that this was the first High School Musical released in theaters. I want to look that up. Let's look that up live on the pod. Because, like I said, the fucking, like, choreography is insane. It's fucking, I can't believe it. Here, I'm going to look up High School Musical 3. The holy shit. Oh, I looked at the wrong thing. Fuck, this movie made so much money. The budget for this movie was $11 million. This film made $252.9 million. Holy fuck, man. Jesus Christ. High School Musical 3 senior year opened with 17 million on Friday, setting the biggest opening day for a musical film of all time until the record was topped by Les Miserables. Holy shit. And then it got broken by Pitch Perfect 2. Does Pitch Perfect count? I guess so. Holy fuck, man. That's crazy. I mean, it's believable because it's High School Musical. It's a Disney property. I'm sure it made a fuck-ass ton of money. But goddamn, dude. For the third one. That's insane. Holy shit. That's crazy. I'm like blown away. Because it like I said too, to the movie's credit, the soundtrack is great. I wish there were less slow songs. There's a little too much for me. But like this, there's not a bad song. They're just, some of them are, there's too many slow songs. So it kind of fucks up the flow. But like the choreography and set pieces are absurdly well done. Like during the song, look this fucking shit up on YouTube because I'm sure it's on YouTube. The most fucking certified banger song in the movie, I Want It All by Sharpay and Ryan Evans. The set for that, unnecessarily ridiculous and impressive. Like they were filming a movie. They could have filmed all these scenes on location somewhere. But really, other than the high school and like one park, there's no fucking shit shot on location. Everything else takes place within the stage. Oh, and I think there's an angry dance scene in a fucking like auto shop, area. Like a junkyard. God, I can't think of words today. I'm too distressed by High School Musical 3. What the fuck, man? That's bonkers nut muffins. I can't believe that. Yeah, honestly, get Disney Plus and watch it yourself. It's a fucking experience. It really is. But beyond that, beyond the fact that the movie is bonkers nut muffins and makes like no sense and is really boring, but also stupid, crazy, and fun, the real takeaway is that Chloe Bolton says trans rights. So that's all that matters. Oh my lord. Well, I want to say thank you, my lovely little babes, for joining me here on this episode of the podcast. This was a fun one. This was fun. I mean, they're all fun, but this was fun. Yeah. Like I said, this will be the last SoundCloud babies. I'm sorry. This will be. But I look forward to seeing you all on all the other platforms, iTunes, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. God, I've been waiting to say that for a long time. Yeah. And I will continue to see you every Thursday. And also keep an eye out because I have some new projects coming out. I know I say that all the time, but I really do because I'm working hard and I'm getting my life figured out. But with that being said, thank y'all so much for joining me here today. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. And most importantly, thanks for stopping by.